Stop that.
What do you mean stop what I'm doing? I'm putting sunscreen on.
For what though?
I thought we were doing a summer video.
Summer anime releases.
What do you mean we're doing a summer video on summer anime?
For YouTube, man.
What do you mean we're not going to the beach and we're not going outside?
You gotta maintain your anime YouTube channel.
Oh, I run an anime channel?
Oh my god, yes.
Right. I do run one.
Jesus.
Right. And we're due to release a summer 2024 new releases and returning?
Oh my god.
Right. That does sound familiar now that you say it.
I can't with you.
Huh. Okay then, so I guess now that we're here and we're filming this, we should get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Mel, the host of this channel. No, I did not forget that we have to do a summer 2024 anime releases, but I absolutely do want to be outside. So if you're like me and looking to enjoy the outdoors in the summer and the warm weather, you're in for a lot of luck because summer tends to be the quietest time of year for big anime releases. One whose return I am really excited for is Oshi no Ko Season 2. Oshi no Ko made a big splash last year when it was released in the spring with its hour-and-a-half long first episode. And this first episode was nothing fans were expecting if you haven't read the manga before. If you don't know what Oshi no Ko is, please go watch my spring 2023 video to know more about that. Also, I believe I do have an Oshi no Ko specific video as well, so you can watch that one too. But for those of you who are returning to watch Oshi no Ko Season 2, you can expect it to pick up right where it left off. In this season, in comparison and contrast to Season 1, we'll actually start to get some development and understanding as to who killed Hoshino Ai. Season 1 was basically the setup for the whole story, whereas Season 2 will start to uncover some clues as to who the culprit is, but at the same time we'll be diving deeper into the dark parts of the entertainment industry. Because while Oshi no Ko principally is about who killed Hoshino Ai, Aqua and Ruby's mom, the mangaka also has emphasized wanting to really do a story on the dark sides of the entertainment industry. So please look out for how much deeper and darker it gets in Season 2. I think we can also look forward to some deeper development around some of our characters because Season 1 also was a place for the introduction of who all of the characters are and perhaps what kind of roles we can see them take throughout the story of Oshi no Ko. Because in Season 2, Aqua will acquire some allies in his search for who killed his mom. And we will hopefully see some bonds deepening in Season 2 as well. And some interesting tidbits is that Season 1 covered approximately 40 chapters of the manga. We can look forward to approximately the same amount, maybe even a little bit more in Season 2. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a very light anime season. So I've got some anime on my list that are kind of goofy and wacky. One of the anime is Red Ramen Cat. And if you couldn't guess from the title, the whole premise of Red Ramen Cat is it's a ramen cafe and it's run by just cats. And one day a human comes in asking to work for them or work with them because she needs a job. They hire her on the spot and it's basically an anime and story on the hijinks of this human working with these cats in a ramen shop. Now you may be asking me, why is this on my watch list and why am I looking forward to watching it? For those of you out there who may not watch the slice of life as much as I do, well, that's number one, it's a slice of life. Number two, the main character Cat is being voiced by Suda Kenjiro-san, one of my favorite Japanese voice actors of all time. So I'm here for his voice, I'm here for the slice of life, but I'm also here for the food because you can absolutely expect a show about cats running a ramen shop to have some of the most beautiful food animation. And like any fan in the anime community, there's nothing more we enjoy than watching food being made on anime or watching people eat food in anime. So there's really not much to Red Ramen Cat. It's going to be full of lots of hijinks, a little bit of comedy, some slice of life, and a lot of food. I suggest you keep some ramen on hand if you're going to watch this anime. Another returning anime, NieR Ultima version 1.1a. That's an anime that's quite a mouthful. In this one, I've definitely got a lot more to say because the way that part 1 ended left us kind of with our mouths hanging open as to like what the hell is going on with the story. But before diving into what I expect to come in part 2 and where we left off from part 1, and I don't know if there's any relation between the video game and the story being told in the anime, If you played the game and you watched the anime, please let me know in the comments below. But NieR Automata is about androids, the Yoroha androids, coming to Earth to fight aliens that are powering these life form machines that have basically wiped out most of the human race, and the remaining people from the human race now live on the moon. So these Yoroha androids are fighting this massive war with the aliens and hoping to eliminate them from Earth so that the humans living on the moon can come back home. However, the story evolves a lot within those first 12-ish, 13 episodes, because we start to uncover some conspiracy going on between the androids that are the main characters, which is 2B and 9S, and the headquarters of the androids, let's just say the commander and the higher-ups. And we start to see this in the form of previous androids that were part of the Yoroha, previous android batches that have kind of gone rogue on Earth and do their own thing now. Also, androids that have gone and killed and gone missing on Earth during their missions. And then the very last bit is at the very end of season 1. And if you haven't seen season 1, then, you know, massive spoilers, because I feel like I need to talk about that. But at the very end of season 1, 9S is getting repairs done. As androids, when you get damaged, they back up, I guess, your knowledge, your brain to the cloud, to the system, the motherboard, whatever you want to call it. And in getting repairs, 9S discovers something. So 9S is known as a scanner android. That's what the S stands for in his name. And he discovers an anomaly in the cloud when getting repaired. So he stops himself and 2B, which is his partner during missions, from getting backed up to the cloud. Then he starts to hack their systems. In doing so, he discovers something really major, and that's the fact that all of the humans that are supposed to be waiting on the moon to come back to Earth after they finish winning the war against the aliens, they're all dead. Yes, you heard that right. They're all dead. And if their mission is to kill the aliens so that the human race can come back to Earth, then what are they still fighting for? They have nothing to fight for, essentially. So what is the whole objective now of the story? So that very last episode raises a lot of questions, and before 9S can continue to dig and discover any more than he already discovered, this holographic girl in a red dress stops him and kicks him out of the system. And we find that she's still watching over 9S after he reunites with 2B. And it looks like they are still fighting the war on Earth come part 2. 9S and 2B return to doing their missions, but it still continues to seem like something is amiss. So hopefully within part 2, we'll start to unravel those mysteries. I don't know if we'll get like season 2s or season 3s out of this. This seems like a very original-ish type of anime. So I don't expect it to be going very long. I almost feel like this part 2 might be the end of it, or maybe we get like a part 3 and perhaps that's a wrap. But in the trailer for part 2, the commander of the Yoroha androids seems to indicate that these may be the final battles of the war. The most highly anticipated returning anime this summer is Tower of God Season 2. And for context, it's been 4 years since the release of Season 1. And that was released during like the start of the pandemic. I clearly remember watching that when it was like, all right, I can't go anywhere, let's binge a lot of anime. And Tower of God was one of those. But not only as fans did we have to wait 4 years, but Bomb, our main character in Tower of God, had to wait 6 years to make a comeback. Because where we last left off in season 1, Rachel, the person that Bomb went into the tower to look for, the person that Bomb said, hey, I'm going to support you to your climb to the top of the tower, this girl Rachel betrayed our sweet boy Bomb by kicking him to the bottom of the ocean, okay? I think it was an ocean, right? Where he miraculously and somehow survived and spent 6 years training. Now he looks like a completely new dude. He has extremely long hair with a ponytail. He's got a completely different vibe, and he looks way stronger than ever. He also is going by a completely different name now in season 2, which is Jules Viol Grace. I think that's how we pronounce it. Jules Viol Grace. And this time, instead of climbing the tower to help Rachel and to find Rachel, he is now climbing the tower for himself to find answers for himself. Obviously, I highly anticipate that he will meet Rachel and his other teammates from season 1 again, but it seems like he has to team up with new people this time. I'm very curious to see how many episodes we're going to be getting in this season 2. I feel like it's going to be 12 episodes, but I can't say for sure. Oh, and for those of you who have never seen Tower of God before, I guess a little bit of introduction to what Tower of God is may help, right? So Bam, our main character, is friends with Rachel. He kind of has no memory, I guess, of his earlier years in life, and Rachel always used to come visit him under the tower in this cave and kind of keep him company. One day, Rachel says, hey, the tower is calling me. So here's this whole thing. The tower kind of has to call you to participate in the quest for climbing the tower. If you're not called, then you have to go through additional quests in order to participate in climbing the tower. It turns out Rachel was not actually called and she was not chosen to climb the tower. It creates this whole complex within her, which causes her to turn against Bam at the end of season 1. And because she thought she was getting called by the tower to participate in the quest to climb the tower, Bam decides to go after her because she is his one and only friend, almost like family to an extent, and he has a strong affection and affinity for Rachel. And while Bam also was not chosen to climb the tower, he was able to accomplish the quests very early on that are required of people who are not chosen to climb the tower, and super succeeds himself on every single floor that they navigate to. Kind of makes you start to feel that Bam is kind of like the chosen one to some extent, but not the chosen one also. So it's basically a really interesting adventure story, extremely popular for many years now. It's a webtoon if you did not know. So if you haven't seen Tower of God yet, please pick it up, watch season 1. You have like a couple of days until season 2 starts, because you are going to thoroughly enjoy the adventure and the action and the story. Continuing with the really goofy anime that I'll be watching this summer is My Dear Friend Nokotan. This anime is giving Nichijou and asobi asobase vibes. Like, I'm talking about straight gag humor, really outrageous, wacky stuff, things that you absolutely cannot explain. And that's because one day, this girl, who used to be a delinquent, comes across these deers and what is, I think, a hybrid deer. When I first watched this trailer, I didn't know whether it was a deer pretending to be a girl pretending to be a deer, but after watching more trailers, it's clear that she is a hybrid girl deer. Don't understand how that works, can't explain it, but it's really wacky, as you can hear. And basically, this hybrid deer girl follows our main character, Koshi, back to school and ends up enrolling as a student. And the weirdest thing about it is that when she walks through the door of the classroom, she comes in with these huge antlers, and these antlers break the door to the point that the stone, cement of the door, whatever it is, hits a bunch of students in the face and they're all bleeding. But for some reason, they are acting as if nothing ever happened, and they're greeting Nokotan really enthusiastically as if she didn't cause it. So it seems like none of the other students in the class can see the weirdness that's going on with Nokotan and her hybrid deerness. The only person who seems to see it is Koshi and threatens to expose her, except that Nokotan said, if you threaten to expose me as a hybrid deer girl, I will tell the entire class that you used to be a delinquent, which would essentially ruin Koshi's whole reputation as this perfect, beautiful girl, right? So I don't really know how to explain this. This is going to be like one of the most hijinks anime that you watch this season if you choose to watch it. If you're looking for a slapstick gag comedy, I think My Dear Friend Nokotan will give you exactly that. But don't watch it looking for anything else. I don't foresee a plot or anything happening here. I just see straight chaos happening with a girl who has antlers. For those of you who have watched Bungo Stray Dogs before, or watched my video on Bungo Stray Dogs, or know about the author known as Osamu Dazai, this next anime seems to be another extension of Osamu Dazai, the author, and it's called No Longer Allowed in Another World. This comedy anime is, I want to say, a fantasy inspiration on the author Osamu Dazai. However, in this story, it's a different telling of the author Osamu Dazai, because we start off with him trying to unalive himself with his lover. And when he does unalive himself with her, or them, not sure who, he ends up being reincarnated. Imagine the shock that you're not dead. And in this new world, he's tasked to be this hero of sorts, right? Clearly, Dazai did not sign up for any of this. So in every opportunity that he takes, it seems like he is still trying to unalive himself in this new world. But I don't think it's quite taking. And acting as the author he was in the previous world, he does continue to still write stories in the new world that he's in, so he's not really fulfilling any of his hero duties, trust me. And his party members are helpless at times, because he doesn't help. You can foresee this being a comedic anime, but a dark one, because this Dazai, not the Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs, but the Dazai from this anime, No Longer Allowed in Another World, is very gloomy and very depressed and very unwilling to do other things that's not writing or unaliving himself. And no, the voice actor from Bungo Stray Dogs, Miyano Mamoru, will not be voicing this Dazai, but instead it will be the Japanese voice actor that voices the likes of Levi from Attack on Titan and Rampo from Bungo Stray Dogs, who is Kamiya Hiroshi-san. But you will obviously see some likeness between this new Dazai and Bungo Stray Dogs Dazai and the real-life author Dazai. So there you have it. A little bit confusing, but hopefully you were able to follow along with all the different Dazais. Kind of last but not least, because we don't actually have a release date yet, all we know is that it will be coming out in August of this year, and that is season 3 of From Me to You. If you haven't watched seasons 1 and 2, which are both on Netflix, of From Me to You, it is basically about this story of a high school girl, Sawako, who is very misunderstood by her classmates in the beginning of season 1. So much so that they actually call her Sadako. And Sadako is the same name for the girl in the Ring movie. You know the Ring movie? Yeah, that movie. They call her that because she has this really long black hair and she kind of has this really gloomy, mysterious look because she's so anxious to try and interact with people. And also there's this rumor going around now that she can see or talk to spirits. It's kind of crazy. Obviously none of these things are true, and obviously her name is not Sadako, it's Sawako. So the premise of From Me to You really stems around clearing up understandings. And when Sawako goes out of her way to clear up these understandings finally at the beginning of season 1, she starts to make new friends and build these deeper relationships with people, because up until then she had never really had any friends in her entire time of attending school. This desire to clear up misunderstandings between all of the different characters leads us to where we are in season 3. She has these great friends. She finally is starting to date the guy that she's kind of always had a crush on since the start of season 1. And now with season 3, we can hope to see their relationship continue to grow and expand. But also I hope to see the other friendships and relationships flourish, because one of the other characters within From Me to You, Ryu, is in love with one of Sawako's friends, who is Chizuru. They have been friends since childhood, and Chizuru does not know that Ryu has feelings for her. So I'm hoping that we can explore that. Whether it's a successful romantic relationship or not, I think that season 3 owes us that. I haven't read the manga, this is all speculation, but I'm hoping that this is what we will be getting. But alas, there you have it. I didn't have a lot on this list because personally I do want to enjoy my time outdoors this summer, and I think you should too. There really isn't a lot going on. Yes, there probably are some other anime on this list that I could have mentioned, but quite frankly I'm not as interested in. But if there's anything else that you think I should pick up that's perhaps a brand new anime that's coming out this summer, let me know in the comments below. You could also hit me up on Instagram or Threads. I'm very active on there. Thank you so much for joining and watching this video. I truly appreciate it. Obviously, knowing the anime community and anime creation community is so big, you choosing to watch my video means the literal world to me. That's gonna do it for me though. I am Mel, the host of Mel. I will see you all, oh my god, I choked there. I will see you all in the next one. Bye!